Hey guys, it's Vic, and if you stumbled on this video by accident, this is the response Q&A to a Q&A video announcement that I put out about 2 weeks ago. Well, okay, it's the response A's to the Q&A, to be exact. Giving free reign to 400 people to ask questions is, a little bit to sort through, but we're all good to go now. So thanks for wanting to interact with me, and we'll get this Q&A started. A random person on the internet asked if I could make my own weapon. This isn't my design, but it's one that I've seen floating around on the internet, is the idea of, you know how we have like a paintbrush, right? But instead, what if we had like a paintbrush on a little paint palette? So kind of like the Brella in a way, but instead you have like a small flat shield that you can kind of use as like a melee weapon? I've seen it before, and it'd be really fun to try, but I don't know how they'd implement it now that we have the Brellas, you know? Because it's close range, I think it'd be fun to give it like Burst Bomb and Ink Storm. Like, you can just, after you're done giving him a good whack with that little pallet, give him a hit with a Burst Bomb to finish him off, throw your Ink Storm so you can run away. Sounds good to me. The Ink Storm would also give it a lot of range, which could be really useful. I know, that's the first weapon I think of when I think of fun little weapons, so I hope you like that idea, and maybe you'll find out more about it online. Agent Oreo asks, can I draw? And the answer is no. I don't really have any kind of passion to learn art right now. It's fun to do, and I honestly would. Okay, it's a lie. I would like to learn how to draw, but it's not something I have time for right now, so instead, I just appreciate everyone else and their art skills. There's been a few people that have drawn fan art for me in the past, and on the outside, I'll be like, oh wow, such good art, it looks good, thank you very much. But on the inside, I'm like, I will admit to being very mushy when people are nice to me, so I try to bring that kindness right back to them if I can. YOUsamisan asks if I have a favorite food. Definitely chicken parmesan, that's always a good meal. And Lime asked what I'm most thankful for, and that's probably just all of the pals I've made out of this. Like, with YouTube, I didn't expect to, get this far, and I surely didn't expect to get so many friends out of it. I thought I was just gonna be archiving my own content for the longest period of time, and then it just kinda grew out of proportion. So I'm really happy with where I am, and being friends with all you guys. And that obviously includes you too, Lime, since, Lime made the icon for this video, so you should go and love and appreciate Lime. Cupcake asks, what was the first video game I ever played? The first video game I ever played that I have, good memory of is we used to have Color Tetris on the Game Boy Color. That was always a game I played a lot, when I was really bored. That's the first game I probably remember that I played a lot. Bup asks how I would make the game better. Maybe either, well, this isn't really related to the game, but if we could have a bigger friends list, Nintendo, that would surely help me on Sundays. But if we're gonna stay within the scope of the game, I could still do something with private battles. Why not some kind of queuing system to get people in and out of the rooms, that's so we can do things easier? If not that, something fun and small, like achievements for certain weapons would be cool. Something beyond the flag system that we have for Turf Wars. Madness hits hard with the question about the E-Liter not getting buffed despite the fact it's been a year. Nintendo's just really confident that it's cool where it is. And, I guess I agree. I wouldn't want them to nerf it in any way, but if they buff it too much, it could become super broken again like in Splatoon 1. I think they could buff it a little bit without doing anything, and I'm assuming that in 4.3 they'll give it some kind of main power-up ability that will really help it out. Okay, a really good E-Liter is still super scary, so I think that's why they're not really willing to buff it, because then they'll pretty much break all the extremely good players and make them pretty much godlike. Echoes asks if I get nervous whenever I think about how many people watch this channel, and the answer to that is absolutely. When I started making the Victionaries, I had, maybe 800-ish subs before all the fantastic stuff happened. So, back then I would be like, okay, I'm gonna make a guide for a weapon that I like, and a few people will watch it, and they'll be able to give me their thoughts on the guide, and I'll be able to give my thoughts on the weapon. But now, whenever I pick a weapon, I'm like, oh, if I make a decent guide, people might all pick this up. And I want to make sure that I'm giving people proper tips so they're using a weapon they like and it's going really well, Having a large influence, I don't want to steer people the wrong way with incorrect advice, for example. Vasko asks about my other job prospects besides YouTube. And, well, to answer that for people who don't know, I am actually a graduate student right now. I'm working towards a degree in operations research. It's a mathematical field that focuses on optimization and modeling. I work on the back end to keep the companies together, really. I honestly don't know myself where I'll end up, but it's really exciting to think about. If I'm not doing something in my field, I'd love to work maybe in a bank or something. Grenix, along with quite a few other people, asked about if I'm getting Smash and who I'd main. Yes, I am getting Smash. I'm hoping to make content on it eventually. And I'm hoping to play Yoshi still. Yoshi was like mid-tier in Smash 4, so hopefully he's still good enough for me to play now. If not, I'd go back to playing Pikachu. And I mean, I'm also gonna pick up Inkling. I think I'm obligated, right? Smash is like less than 2 weeks away, and I think everyone's getting super hype about it. I'm so ready to play it too. Matthew asks, what's your favorite Splatoon ability? Even though I don't get to use it very often, I do like Thermal Ink a lot. My friends really like Thermal Ink, and I like to use it on a few weapons, but the weapons that I main really don't need Thermal Ink, so I just kind of sit there and sadly stare at it as it stares back at me, and I hope that I get to use it sometime. For Sunday Fun Day, I don't plan on doing anything else besides Splatoon in the foreseeable future. I'll try and stream on other days if possible for other games. Antoniyoshi asks what I plan to do with the channel in the future, and honestly, not too much is gonna change just right yet. It's still gonna be all the same, Victionaries when I can, ads hopefully on the weekly, but I'm hoping to bring Smash into it too. I've noticed that people actually really like the more relaxed stuff that I do, where I just kind of play a couple of games and cobble it all together in a mini montage talky kind of way, so I'll probably make more of those too. I'd also love to make some kind of stream for like solo queue sometime. I'd really like to play by myself and just let people see how I play instead of just doing it in private battles, where I feel like because I'm interacting with the audience a lot, I don't always play at my best, and I'd like to show people what I can do. Merlin asks what my favorite part of being a Splattuber is. I guess just being able to play Splatoon and be able to share it with everyone. The channel started out as just a little archive for my own gameplay and then kind of got really out of hand really fast. Seeing it gain traction of its own and making it into its own thing is really nice, and I hope that I can keep helping people in the future, especially in Splatoon, where I got my ground. I'm in it for the long haul to help us all get better together. Daniel wants to know what I'd like to see before they stop updating the game. Well, I'd really actually like a new game mode. There was a mistranslation during the Splatoon 2 UK Championship the other day that made everyone think there was gonna be new game modes coming out, and it got me really excited, and now I really do want one, honestly. I guess they'd have to make two, that's so the Splatnet app stays all nice and balanced. But I mean, if we're gonna get 2 more game modes, you won't see me complaining. Starve asked what got me into Splatoon. Well, I actually got Splatoon for my sister's birthday, and then we both fell hopelessly in love with the game. So if my sister didn't really want the game for her birthday, I probably wouldn't have played it at all. Maybe we would have picked it up later, but we wouldn't have had it at the start, which we did. Welshey asks, if I can make a custom weapon, what kind of weapon would I make? Well, I'd finally make myself that lovely slosher with the burst bomb. I don't have any preference for a special. Maybe a bomb rush for a lot of paint. That sounds pretty nice. Or maybe a booyah bomb. Captain Samurott asks what my favorite Pokemon is. My favorite Pokemon is Cyndaquil. For the other people that were asking, I also like other Pokemon like Celebi and Flygon. I was one of those people that would play Flygon competitively even though Salamence was better in pretty much every way. And you know what? I still don't care. Flygon's just good. Let him be cute, let him be powerful, and let me keep playing Flygon no matter what. Choco asks what I think about the future of Splatoon 2 after Smash comes out. I think Splatoon 2 is just gonna be just fine. For example, you have Koshien, which is that Japanese tournament that happens every year. If you haven't noticed, Koshien's been going super strong. They have a lot of events online and offline for pretty much all year long, right? Japan's baseball league also supports Splatoon 2 now. Like, they have an actual league going on next year, I believe in May. I'll put the image and I'll put a link probably as well in the video if I remember. Even though we're not esports over here in the States, Splatoon 2 is definitely esports over in Japan. So I think we're gonna be just fine. Even if our scene doesn't do too well, Japan will be strong and we'll be able to watch that for probably a long way out. Also, you can't deny how much Nogami just loves the game that he's created and the community that's formed around it. So I think while Splatoon 3 is still a long ways off, I think Splatoon 2 is gonna do just fine. You can tell they had a ton of ideas really late into the game with how much they're trying to shoehorn kind of right in at the end in December. 4.3 is supposed to be the last really major update for the game. After this, we'll just have smaller patches, but they want to go out with a bang. The dev team is throwing everything they can at us to try and keep the game fun and interesting. So I'm really thankful for everything they've done for us, and it's up to us from here on out to keep the game alive. I'm happy to be a part of it, and I hope you are too. No Name and Caritapity asked pretty much the same question about how do I keep myself motivated to make content, and I guess the easiest thing is that having a series helps. The Victionaries, even though they don't come out as often as I'd like, they're definitely something that I can think on when I'm just sitting around thinking, oh, you know, what should I have as an idea for this weapon if I do this weapon? And I can kind of, write out a couple of ideas in a Word document, save them for later. And then when I have time to finally play with the weapon, I can think back on the things that I said to myself as a basis for my own gameplay. Sometimes the ad videos aren't even planned. What I'll do is I'll pick a weapon that somebody asked me to try, and I'll play it in a league rotation that I think would be good for it. If the results are good, I'll make an ad out of just that rotation. If I'm playing really well, I really don't need too much footage to be able to make an ad. I also prefer to make all of my content in League if possible. So number one, I'm playing with people, and I'm getting footage against, people who might be a little more coordinated, so the kills feel more real to people when they watch. The opposite is true for the Victionaries, where I try to get a lot of my footage from solo. That way you can see what it feels like to be playing in solo queue with a weapon. I don't get all of it from solo queue, but I do get a good amount. After all, for someone just starting out, I don't think they'll have access to being able to play with too many friends. So if they're gonna have to learn a weapon, they might have to learn it by themselves, and they should see an accurate depiction of that if possible. Smol Witch asks about how I started the channel and would I do it any differently, and the answer is, yeah, I would honestly. My channel started out as an archive. I made a few videos here and there, just putting up little clips of things that I saw in Splatoon 1, not Splatoon 2, because my channel originates all the way back to March 2017. Most people don't know that because most of my content is from January and on. That's when I started streaming and started to care about the channel more. Nearly everything from before 2018 has no mic and is just straight gameplay with maybe some text underneath it, so you can see that the quality of the content has increased a lot since then. Every video that I've ever put up is still actually on the channel, minus a singular video that was titled Hacker and a Squid Party. Wah! YouTube just decided, oh, you can't have that video anymore. And Nintendo was like, oh yeah, sure, we can copyright that video. And they did. And then I didn't really have access to it anymore. It's still on my channel, and it still bloats my video view count by about 100,000 views. But nobody can watch it, only myself, so it just kind of sits there and hangs out. The really fun part is that sometimes people get it and they're recommended apparently, so the video still exists and YouTube is like, hey, you should watch Vic's video on the Hacker and the Squid Party, but no one can watch it, so it just kind of sits there. For those who are curious, it's just a video of a Rainmaker match where there's a hacker and the game gets messed up because the hacker DCs, but the Rainmaker's stuck in a silly position, so we are all just left to Squid Party. It was just an S-rank match in Splatoon 1. When I came back from university, I had seen that the channel had actually blown up a little bit, and I felt like obligated to try and do something with it. So yeah, without Hacker and the Squid Party sacrifice, I don't know if I'd be making YouTube videos today. I do wish I put a little more effort into my really early content. I also didn't have Sony Vegas at the time, so I was kind of limited in what I could do. From what I've learned from others though, you can totally make content without a really fancy editing program. All you gotta do is just make sure it all lines up properly, make sure to add some nice text, and use whatever effects you got available to try your best. And then be like me and wait for a good old Humble Bundle to come around and swoop up a good editing program. And that's like not even a joke, by the way, guys. Like, watch out for Humble Bundle. They've done $20 Sony Vegas twice now. So if they do it again, that could be a great way to start off your own channel. If you're starting out right now, the best advice I could give you is to make sure you reach out to lots of members of the community. Do collabs, hang around with people, support each other, and you'll go further that way at a quicker pace. BBJ asks for some tips to get to rank X. A few quick tips is just to make sure that you're pushing when it's proper. Like, don't push in when you have less teammates alive than they do. If you have 2 people alive and they have 4, pushing in is not going to end very well for you in most cases. If it's overtime, I mean, I getcha. You can do what you gotta do. But if you have a little bit of time to spare, one really good, well-planned out, team-coordinated push will probably do better than running in by yourself 5 times in a row and wondering why you can't get past 60. If you haven't already, watching that SRB2Dude's videos on getting better is a great place to start. You can also watch my Victionaries if you're looking for basic tips on your favorite weapons. Another really stupid basic tip that I actually find really important that most people don't do, including myself, is you really do have to check the map. Like, you can check the map and see when people are coming for you around flank paths. That way you don't get beamed by people that are thinking they're super sneaky. Marsiie asks, am I an epic gamer? Oh, you know I'm an epic gamer. I'm out here winning all those games, getting those L's, passing out those dubs. And immediately upon recording that, realized I messed it up, so you know I'm just the most epic of gamers out there. And yeah, I'm keeping that in. Fragahlot comes in with a question for the ages. Yes or no? Yes. I can only hope that I answered it correctly for you. You'd better tell me in the comment, Frag, what that yes or no question was supposed to entail so I can decide if I answered correctly or not. King J asks about my motion control stats. For me, I keep the motion controls on usually about 2.5, and I keep the sticks on about 4. Basically, the best way to start using motion controls is actually to go for like a hybrid type of holding of your controller. What you can do is, since the sticks still do work when you do motion, you only use the motion for up and down, and you can use the sticks for left and right. It'll let you slowly turn over to using motion without overwhelming you so fast. That's how I did it back in Splatoon 1, and it really helped me out. Lib asks what weapon I would buff if I had to pick one. I'd probably pick the Bamboozler, just because I really do love the bamboo, and I wish more people would use it, including myself. If we buff it, then there's more reason to pick up the bamboo and snipe some fools. I'll also just never accept Squiffer as master race. I will always believe in the bamboo. Are you tired of not having any cool content to watch? Have you ever wanted to see a stickman move in real time? Well, the only thing I could think of that would suit your style would be Squaggies. Squaggies even has a cool new setup for his epic gamer games like Minecraft, where he has his body rigged to a camera that moves his sticks. Alright, that fell apart a little bit, but I'm very serious when I should say you should definitely subscribe to Squaggies. He's a cool pal, and he does deserve your love and support. You thought I wouldn't do it. Daniel Dapple asks, what can be done to improve your skill in Splatoon 2? Well, practice, really. The more you play the game, the better you're gonna get. It's definitely gonna be happening faster if you're playing with a purpose. When you go to play ranked, for example, don't just pick a weapon and go. Pick a weapon and go with a plan. It doesn't really matter if you have a plan for the entire game or not. Well, that does help. It's good to at least have a small amount of planning, like know what you're gonna do when you roll out at the start of the game. Throw your curling bomb, that's so you and your teammates can start the match faster. Did you see a sniper at the start of the match? Maybe there's a path you shouldn't take, that way you don't get sniped right away. It's the little things like that that could possibly make a difference in the long run. Lizzie asks why ice in cereal is not something I like. Well, Lizzie, I think that putting ice in your cereal is gonna water down your milk, and then the cereal's not gonna taste as good. You're gonna end up infusing your cereal with watered down milk instead of the taste of real milk. Also, we just all like being super annoying to Myaroni, who really loves ice in her cereal. So that's the real reason behind it. Dafny wants me to go and say which ranked modes are my favorites. Well, from least favorite to most favorite, I would say my least favorite is going to be Rainmaker. Then I like Tower Control a little more. I really do like Clamblitz. And then Splat Zone sits right at the top where it belongs. Pushes feel super rewarding in zones, so I really do like playing it. Design-wise, what's my favorite weapon, Q asks? Well, I think it would still be the Dually Squelchers. I used to really love the Dual Squelcher. It's a bright colored weapon that has a really neat design, and then they went and they chopped it in half in Splatoon 2. So now it's just two cute little railguns instead of one big old railgun, and I still love it quite a lot. Jen asked what made me want to start my Splatuber career. While it's kind of similar to beforehand where I said I really just wanted to archive all of my stuff, I also wanted to get better as a player, and the best way for me, in my mind, what to get better, was to record my own content and be able to look back on it, to be able to see what I did right and what I did wrong. And honestly, it worked. I also didn't really upload a majority of the things that I did in-game, because I didn't want to spam the channel or anything. So I was sitting there learning from my own gameplay, getting better from my own mistakes, and slowly became a better player. And then when I felt comfortable, I kind of moved up with the channel. Along with the whole hacker and a squid party thing. Everything fell into place all at once, and I'm really happy with where everything is. Maki Sashi asks if there's ever been a day that kind of left an impression on me, and yeah, there was. When I was just starting out at university, we had to go to an orientation in like July, August to be able to set up for classes and everything, and when I got to university, the marching band was actually playing in the grasses. I remember they were playing Pompeii by Bastille, which is still one of my favorite songs and definitely sticks with me after that day. We're just like standing there, listening to the band playing in the background as I looked upon this big new campus that I had to explore and like the life changes that were gonna come ahead of me because I was done with high school. I don't know, it just felt super freeing. And that was the first time I really felt like an adult. Back when I was 18, it still sticks with me. That feeling, the weird feeling that I had just knowing that things were about to change. It was this positive, upward movement in my life that just felt really good, and I hope that someday you can feel like that too. SuperFrubblez asks why the username Vicvillon. Oh, well, okay. So, in the past times, I used to go by other odd pun names like Torisar, which is like Victoria and Ivysaur, but now I go specifically by Vicvillon. My nickname is actually my real name, Victoria, mashed with Vivillon the Pokemon, so it's supposed to be pronounced Vicvillon, but I mispronounce it often as Vicvillon, because when I made the channel, I really didn't know that it was Vicvillon and not Vicvillon. So, you'll hear me pronounce it probably like 3 different ways per stream, and hopefully you just roll with it. Technically the right way is Vicvillon. I'm making a more conscious effort to pronounce it properly, because we've had multiple discussions about this in various places, including my stream and on my Discord. When I changed nicknames, I was still really into 6th generation Pokemon, and that's where the nickname kind of came from. I didn't want to make any other puns, and in fact, I actually almost changed over from Vicvillon to Vicavolt, like Vicavolt, when Gen 7 came out. But I didn't, and I think that Vicvillon is a cuter name in the end, so I think I picked right. Deltastorm wants to know how to avoid bad teammates in Ranked, and the real answer is you can't. The best thing to do is that your teammates are trying to make a kind of silly push. You might as well just go with it, because if you don't, they're probably just gonna keep dying over and over again. Hopefully, you don't end up being that silly teammate too, though. If you don't want to push up with them, at least supporting their actions by giving them a little bit of ink might turn their bad idea into an okay idea, and then you might not lose. Mojo asks about a dually ultra stamp, and I can say that the first thing I thought of was like little tiny octo stamps, like not like super small, but like maybe like hammer sized, like actual like physical normal hammer size, and someone's just kind of going at it on a little table trying to hit someone. I don't know. I feel like with dually stamps, you would lose the ability to do a one-hit KO when you kind of, yeet the hammer. So I feel like you wouldn't really want two of them. Could you imagine making like 2 smaller paths when you throw each hammer for a Rainmaker carrier? That could be a good use for dual hammers. Blob asks if I like the normal slosher, and the answer is it's cool. I have almost no points used on it. I really do like the Slosher Deco's kit a lot more. I would like to try out the regular Slosher sometime, maybe make a video on it to see how I feel about it. I think the regular Slosher is a bit more niche, so it's a little harder to use. In a competitive setting, you can almost always get away with more with the Slosher Deco. Admittedly, people really aren't willing to use Tentamissiles that much anyway, and I don't think I really main any Tentamissile weapons. I'd probably want to get better with missiles again before I really tried to dive into the regular Slosher. And honestly, I'm sure there are people out there that could prove me wrong in a heartbeat. It is still a really powerful main weapon, and having a bomb is super nice. I do not like having the sprinkler all the time, because even though it's so great for painting, I do wish I had a bomb to get out of some bad situations, you know? Thank you for that also asks if I can cook. Not a lot of things. I do like to bake occasionally, and I can make some nice empanadas. That's really about it. Oh, and I also pride myself in making good eggs. What you gotta do is when you make scrambled eggs, you take it off of the heat a little bit before they're actually done cooking. That way, when the eggs finish, they're still a little bit runny, but they are fully cooked. That way, you get really pleasant eggs. SpiffySean asks what my favorite Splatoon 2 meme was. Remember that trumpet meme from a while back where there was the kid that would play the trumpet to whatever tune it was? I liked the one where someone took the trumpet meme and put a squid playing the Splooshomatic over the trumpet meme kid. It's a very specific reference, but I thought that was a really funny meme, and I retweeted it at least once or twice. Egg asks about my favorite and least favorite maps. Well, my favorite map from Splatoon 1 was Black Valley Skate Park, and now it's probably Manta Maria. Nowadays, if I had to pick a least favorite map, it probably would be Camp Triggerfish, or if not, Snapper Canal. Koramora's son asks what my favorite special would be to bring back from Splatoon 1, and that would be the Kraken. I really do miss Kraken. As a no-aim, no-brain, burst bomb playing Kraken main with my custom jet squelcher, I really did enjoy being able to pop Kraken on fools back during Bluefin Depot days. So yeah, let me play on tower control and give me back Kraken and I'll have a fun time. MelloMatt asked what one of my favorite videos on the channel is, and I'd probably have to pick either between the Dapple Doolies ad, not the Blob Blobber ad, but the Dapple Doolies one, because I had a lot of really dumb puns on that one, and I really hyped it up on Twitter as well, because I was super excited about the way it came out. And then, hands down after that, I did a collab with Welshey, Madness, and Squirrel a long while back. We played some Jet Squelcher games and had some fun outside of our regular routines, and it was a really good collab. It's the only collab I've really had time to do besides the stuff I did with Vian, so it has a really warm place in my heart. It's just us fooling around for a while and having fun with Jet, so if you haven't seen that collab, I'd recommend watching it. The Switch Show wants to know what my most unpopular opinion is. Well, does having light theme count as an unpopular opinion? Because you guys already know that I do love myself some light theme. And while I really don't have anything super spicy to tell you, I mean, I am the kind of person that likes tea more than coffee, and I don't drink soda because I think it's gross. Gara Power asked if I ever played Fortnite and if I would record it. I've never played Fortnite, and honestly, I don't really have any plans to do it unless it's with some friends. If I do play it sometime, yeah, I could record it and put it online, but I don't really know if I would. I've heard that Fortnite's motion controls are not great, so I feel like I would play really badly. Star asked if there was something I'd like to change pretty much anywhere, what would it be? And maybe, In Splatoon, it's really hard to get rid of your friends fast during stream, so why not make it that so you can delete more than one friend at a time on your friends list? I feel like it wouldn't be that hard for Nintendo to implement it, and it would make my life and a lot of other people's lives a lot easier. I am really happy, by the way, that we can all get better together with you, Star. CheatZ asks what I like to do outside of playing Splatoon 2, and when I'm not hanging out with friends, I do actually like to sing. Singing is something that I've done since I was like pretty much non-existent. Basically, I've always been doing singing since I was young. I used to sing and play the piano back when I was taught piano, but I can't really play the piano anymore. I took up chorus back in 3rd, 4th grade and never really stopped until about halfway through college. So I take pride in my voice, and I take pride in, just having something that makes me really happy. Besides that, I like making little paper origami stars, and I also really like biology. I'm not getting any kind of biology degree, but biology always interested me, and I almost went down that path. Sometimes I'll just go on Wikipedia and hit the random page and hope to get something interesting. Coffee Star asks how I felt about Splatoon when I first heard of it. I thought it was okay. Honestly, I don't remember any kind of emotion of like, oh yeah, I really need that game, I'm gonna have a good time. So I think I just picked up the Wii U and just kind of played it for the sake of playing it, and then we both just kind of fell in love with it, so it worked out in the end. If I had another game that I could play all the time, it'd probably be like MapleStory 2. I really would love to try out MapleStory 2 and have fun with it, but I don't really have the time right now. I know that whenever that new Pokemon game comes out next year, the new RPG, main game, I'm gonna blow too many hours on that game. TiZUrl asks, if I could pick one weapon to remove, what would it be? It would probably be the Neo Sploosh. I've never really had a lot of use with the Neo Sploosh myself. I've seen a couple people use it. I mean, it's a really good weapon for getting missiles, but I really don't care for the Neo Sploosh too much, and out of all weapons, that's the one I would say bye-bye to. Sleepi asks which season I like the most, and I think I'd go with fall. Even though during the fall I have to deal with a little bit of seasonal allergy stuff, I really prefer fall over spring, because that's when the leaves all become super pretty, honestly, and fall to the ground. There's a specific part of my drive to class where there's this whole row of hedges, and for about a week, they turn a super violent bright shade of red every fall, and it's just, it's one of my favorite times of the year because I always know it's gonna be there, and it's just nice. Meme Lord asks if salt overrides me when I'm fighting good snipers, and the answer is no, because I'm usually too busy not paying attention to them until I've already been sniped. C asks if it's possible to convert your main over time or not, and to that, I say yes. I used to actually be a custom Jet Squelcher main. I was maining custom Jet for the entirety of the end of Splatoon 1, and a good portion of Splatoon 2 as well, but after being inspired by a lovely friend of mine who goes by Acid Sunshine on Twitch, I actually had a change of heart and really came to like buckets. I haven't dropped buckets since, and it's been almost a year since I started to pick them up, so I'm really happy with them. Although I main the bucket class, I usually do play a lot of other weapons too. I consider myself more of a flex than a specific something main. If I had to pick weapons that I main though, it would be probably the Sloshing Machine, the Slosher Deco, and the Custom Jet. Ninjam asks if I think I've became like any of the Splatubers that I used to watch a lot. Well, some of my favorites to watch were Jay and Whitehawk, and I feel like the humor that I have sometimes stems from the way that they talk, but I don't want to, imitate them. So I definitely don't try to do that, but they're definitely some of my favorites still to watch to this day, honestly. Enthusiasm will always make me watch a player over skill, to be honest with you, but skill is a great bonus. Your Average Otaku asks what my favorite candy would be, and that would be Twizzlers, honestly. I just really like Twizzlers. They're good. They last a long time, and they're tasty. They don't make you feel as sick after eating a whole bunch of them unlike chocolate usually does. Tam asks if there's any obscure game that I really like. When I was a kid, I really liked Zaboomafoo for the Game Boy Color. This is really random, but it's a game that I still probably own somewhere for sure. It's a good game, man. If I still had a working Game Boy Color, I would probably turn it on and see how horribly it's aged, because it was really fun to play, honestly, when I was a kid. I had other classics too, like Pokemon Pinball and a Zelda game that I never actually beat, so yeah, Zaboomafoo's up there with all those guys. So we got Dabberoni here with a question about crims. Now, mind you, I did skim this comment quickly and noticed that crims actually stands for Close Range Ink Mines, and I didn't know that. I thought it was Close Range E-liter meta this whole time, so I am perhaps Bobo the Fool. But anyway, Dabberoni wants me to know, how do I feel about crims? A revolutionary tactic that has been used before, but not optimized until just recently? Most know it as a meme. a joke, using an E-liter and ink mines together at close range. But there is so much more to it, stretching beyond the average human's comprehensive level, so in order to not ruin the delicately balanced meta that we have today, Crims being pretty broken and all, and the entirety of these texts will be kept a secret. The history of tactics similar to Crims stretches all the way back to the days of Splatoon 1, where something of this sort was a thing, and in recent time, there was a leak of a new E-liter with even better synergy for Crims, with Burst Bomb and Baller. However, sadly, this was confirmed to be fake. Still though, the set that we have now is more than enough to take over. It started as a panic defense when someone flanked you, a charger at close range, and is now turned into an optimal strategy that will revolutionize competitive and maybe even casual play as we know it. Wow, he's pretty determined about this. Optimal team comps thus far are 1 E-liter and 3 Aerospray Air Gs to provide insanely strong backline support. However, this is all hypothetical, and the research being so new. This composition, in theory, should have a 100% win rate on every map and mode combination, with an exception of Clamblitz Sellendorf Institute, in which the quad ink brushes reign supreme. It's not wrong. It will inevitably override the meta when it's fully discovered by the masses, being versatile at all ranges and having the fastest kill time in the game out of not every main weapon, but sub and special, as well as catching your opponents off guard, just to name a few perks. But in time we have now, what's your take on it? Let's see. He says that a 15-page essay is preferred for this, though don't worry, I don't expect you to deliver on that, as long as you do need to have a high IQ to understand Crims. The techniques are extremely subtle, and without a solid grasp of theoretical physics, I don't have theoretical physics, most of the strats will go over a typical player's head. Does that mean they'll go over my head? There's also the gear build, the emphasis on swim speed being greatly woven into its customization. The top players get this stuff. They would have the intellectual capacity to realize it's not just funny, it says something deep about the world we live in today. As a result, those who underestimate Crims truly are the idiots. They wouldn't appreciate, for example, this combination of strategies that have been improved on for years now. Ooh, he's smirking. I'm smirking right now, imagining one of those... I guess I'm scratching my head trying to pronounce... addlepated. Simpletons scratching their heads in confusion as my genius unfolds itself on their Switch screens. Nothing personal, kid. But that's not all. There is one more important announcement that needs to be made. Dabaroni is in grave danger, and he needs your help to wipe out the squads in Moray Towers. But to do this, he's gonna need an E-liter and a couple of ink mines. All you need to do is get your parents' credit card information, the 12 digits on the front, the 3 on the back, and the expiration date and month, so Dabaroni can clutch the bag and achieve the epic rank X. What about me? What about me? Well, Dabaroni, I did make that E-liter 4K video, which shows that I do enjoy a slight amount of Crims every once in a while, a little bit of tap-tap, a little bit of ink mines, because you know, with those ink mines being pretty buffed up, you can actually get some pretty good kills with the ink mines and a close-range E-liter shot altogether. So maybe you're onto something. Maybe in a few months, when you log on to Splatoon 2, after the meta has, kind of dwindled down a little bit from the patches stopping, and no more patches coming out, maybe you'll go online, and all you'll see is just gonna be E-liters. Not the custom E-liter with those bubbles, because who's gonna use bubbles in 3 months, right? It's just gonna be all regular E-liter. All regular E-liter. You're gonna be out there, you're gonna have ink mines up the wazoo. There's gonna be 8 ink mines out for each team. Like, you're gonna try and pick up the Rainmaker, and it's just gonna be ink mines. What are you gonna do? You're not gonna do anything. You're gonna have to play E-liter like everyone else, or you're just gonna fall apart. Their long range makes your range a joke. That's just the truth. I don't know what we're gonna do. I'm thankful that you're telling me about this in advance, and we'll be able to tell the audience that they have to start playing close-range E-liter now, or else, I don't know, man. I think Splatoon 2 might be coming to an end, and it's all because of Crims. And with that, we're done for the day. Thank you for the support up to now, and I'll keep making content in the future that I hope everyone will enjoy. I hope that you'll be willing to enjoy when I hop over to make some Smash content as well, but I won't be stopping this Splatoon journey anytime soon. We're here to get better together, and that's the way I'm gonna keep it for as long as possible, honestly. It means a lot that 8,000 people took a look at my channel and were like, seems good, and hit that subscribe button. That makes me feel nice. So here's to 8,000 more. See you later, guys, and thank you for watching. If you have anything that you'd like me to maybe make a video on in the future, or something you'd want me to return to, let me know in the comments what kind of videos you'd like me to make. I can't guarantee that I'll get to all these ideas or even take more than 1 or 2, But I'm always open to suggestion.